Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, folks. We have the special guest back who's going to actually unbelievably, wonderfully share with us his real estate spreadsheet. Let's welcome Philip back to the show. How you doing, buddy?
Thanks, Mike. Hey, and thank you so much for all your good daily content, man. I watch you every day and really appreciate what you do.
Oh, that means the world to me. Thank you for that. I appreciate it. Yeah, I'm gonna keep showing up. Eventually, one rental at a time will take off, and we'll be helping more and more people. But I think your story, what I heard in episode 1, starts at 23, house hack, use the IRS tax code, try to flip, didn't work. $5,000 in cash flow in under 10 years, close to freedom. Just congrats, dude. That's freaking amazing.
I really appreciate it, Mike. Thank you.
Yeah. But now it's time to do some inspection. We're actually going to pull up your spreadsheet, see if technology lets us do it. Oh, I think it's working. Select, share. I think it's working. So can you see that now?
Perfect. Yes, sir. Sure can. Perfect.
So I think I'm driving, so you may need to tell me where to go. So what are we looking at right now, like row 3 versus to row 12? What are those?
Yes, sir. So in row A right there, you got the different addresses of the places. I didn't put the numbers, but that's the streets.
Yeah, it's fine.
All these are single to up to 4 unit places. Pretty much the first 3, 4, 5 are all single family.
Okay.
Actually, the first 4 are all single family. Then after that, I get into some 2 to 4 units.
Okay.
Garner Circle, Fernwood Circle are the first primary residences that I had. And then Fernwood number 2, I actually moved right behind the house I was in. So
That's funny.
Those three are all primaries. Quick side story. I'm actually one of 12 kids, and on Fernwood in Chattanooga, I actually live right near my parents. So my son, who's 8 years old, gets to play with my 10-year-old brother. I'm 31, all the way down to 10-year-old brother. So my son and my brother get to play together all the time on Fernwood, which I own 2 houses. So anyway, side story there.
There's a joke in there somewhere. That's pretty cool, though. That's pretty awesome.
Yeah.
That's okay. Cool. All right. What else?
But so on this spreadsheet here, one thing I think that is interesting to note. So you got Garner and you got Fernwood. Both of those being primary residences. I put down $3,500 on Garner and $8,000 on Fernwood. I know that for a lot of people that's a lot of money, but that is a savable amount. You're talking, few $100s for several years, or you're saying $400 or $500 over 1 year. So I mean, all those are savable amounts of money. I'm not getting into this with hundreds and hundreds of thousands. I say that because towards the end here, towards Germantown and Graysville, Poindexter on the spreadsheet, you see that I'm putting down these huge amounts of money, but all this comes from that very beginning seed of 3,500 and 8,000. And we can get into more of the numbers here in just a second.
Yeah. So I'm just taking the spreadsheet and I'm a numbers guy. So row 4, right? That was a rental for at least a little bit of time. Yeah.
So it was, I didn't put the rental rates in there. Down below, we have the cash flow. I did not put any of the rental rates in for Garner just because I've sold it. I took advantage of the tax code, and ended up selling that place and using that net profit to then roll into other deals later.
Yeah.
So
that's okay.
Here.
So
Altamira.
No, 1 second. Let's talk about Garner again. Because again, I want people to realize that time in the market beats timing the market. So you put $3,500 down and you walked away, what is that, 6 years later, roughly, with a check for $55,000. Plus you had cash flow, which,
that's right,
another couple grand. So what is that? That's like,
and Garner was probably only, I would say, $10,000 under market when I bought it. And I looked it up the other day. It was valued at 180. It was crazy.
Wow. And then you do it again on Fernwood. You take $8,000. Now, does that come from the 55, or did you have?
No, sir. So I would say that the Fernwood money came from, one, my regular income, but also from the cash flow Garner.
Awesome. No, and that's,
You know,
yeah, it's awesome.
There's 4 years difference. There was 4 years difference between Garner and Fernwood. So I had 4 years to save up the next 8,000.
Yeah.
It did not come from the sale price.
And I didn't think it did, just given the timing, because that'd be really hard to do, go back in time. But I want people to see that, right? First off, as you said in episode 1, your parents set you right. You were starting at 21. You had the money. It took until 23 to find a deal. You found it. You roll through on purpose. You get on the property ladder again. You make the first one a rental, and you save $8,000 this time. Again, live below your means, needs versus wants. It's all it starts slow for everyone. I don't care.
And it's a very intentional thing. So many of my friends, you know, you just don't have a plan. And so the plan is to use every bit of money every month. And that's the plan, you know, but just because you don't have a plan. So I would set money aside every month as much as I could. And I just knew I was going to be putting that down towards my next deal.
And again, I want people to hear that again. So 2013, you're living on Garner. You're already, at what point are you purposely saving for not Fernwood specifically, but the second house? Like right away, a couple years in, how long?
You know, I would say a year in, just to be honest. Yeah. I'm always kind of more of a saver kind of person, but you know, intentionally for another property, probably a year in, because that's when I started realizing, hey, I'm going to have more than one kid. Yeah. Probably is not going to be my primary forever. So yeah.
Perfect. That's awesome. Okay. So you get into the second one, the first one's a rental. Wow, look at that. 4 years later, you sell it again, tax advantage, no taxes on that $89,000. Really cool.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah. But, so in between the selling of Garner and Fernwood, because, you know, the sales portion kind of skips ahead, you know, you got Altamira, right before I sold Fernwood number 1, before I ended up with a check of $89,000. I did a flip. No, I take that back. You know, I apologize. Fern was actually sold. Garner was sold in order to purchase Altamira. So it was an $85,000 purchase price. I put down 17. I think I'd sold Garner by the time I did Altamira. I kind of get my timelines mixed up here, regardless, $17,000 down on Altamira. That was a flip turned bad. I ended up buying it for $85,000. Put about $35,000 into it roughly. So yeah, I think that had to have come from the Garner sale.
Yeah. Okay. So you try to do it. You try to do a flip. You bought primaries. You made one a rental. You lived in the other. You tried to flip your business. You tried to flip it. Again, did you try a flip because you saw it on, you know, TV, or what was it about a flip? Was it simply because you thought you got a deal? Did you really think you were going to start building chunk money to buy more rentals? Why did you try a flip?
You know, I ended up keeping that house for 6 months as a rental, and the previous owner of the house, it just seemed like everything that he had done was kind of half done. And there just seemed like there was always more and more issues every time that I turned around to fix it. So it still would have paid off if I had kept it, for sure. It would have been worth more and probably paid off if I had kept it. But ultimately, I just decided to wash my hands of it and go towards something else. Looking back, I think it would have been fine to keep it as well.
Oh, so maybe I misunderstood. When you bought Altamira day one, the intention wasn't a flip. It was
the intention was to keep it, and then it turned into a bad flip.
Oh, now I see. Okay, so you thought you bought another one. It was repaired with lipstick. It just, you had a bad taste. That's interesting. I thought you bought a flip that went bad. You really bought a rental that went bad.
So when I bought it, I was saying this is maybe going to be a flip, maybe being a primary. So I think one mistake looking back would be, I think that you need to have a more solid plan rather than just saying this is a medium good rental and it's a crappy flip. I could have told you at the very beginning it's a really tight flip for sure, and then it was probably going to be a okay rental. So I tried the rental thing, then realized it was kind of tough on this one particular one for whatever reason, and then ended up just taking the loss and moving on. And I really was going to break even. And then at the very last second, they asked for $5,000 worth of remodel because they brought up, there really was a lot of issues with the house. So anyway, yeah. So I just cut my losses and moved on.
So what would it be worth today if you kept it?
170, 180. I looked it up yesterday.
That hurts
It
a
would have
little
been
bit.
fine if I kept it. Yeah, it does.
Yeah.
It does. So then ended up buying another primary and then turned Fernwood #1 into a rental. Which that one was cash flowing great because I was renting it out for, I think it was 17 or 18 a month. And my payment was like $1,000 roughly. Unfortunately, when I sell it, I didn't put the numbers in the spreadsheet. So,
Okay.
I was cash flowing about $500 or $600. And then, so I knew if I sold it, I could probably get around this $89,000, $90,000 amount. I actually threw out to an agent, hey, if you can sell it for this, then I'll do it. Because I looked at the equity in the place was 80, let's just say 90,000. And then the cash flow on it was, let's just say $500 a month. I knew that I probably could generate at least $500 a month on another deal at the very least. And even if I were to buy a house within a course of a year, it was going to be worth doing. So I ran the numbers different ways and then just decided, let's cash out, take the risk. I hated to lose the $500 a month because that was awesome.
Yeah.
But then I decided, you know what, we're going to try to leverage this up.
Got it. All right. So let's talk about the first multifamily, like duplex, quad, something. Let's talk about Poindexter.
Yeah. So, okay. Yep. So, and one, by the way, lesson that I learned for sure in that process is that if you're doing the work every day and and you have the money available, you tend to find the deal.
Exactly.
Many times, if you just try to do all these different things at once, it's tough. It's really tough. If you're trying to find the deal and you're not sure if you're going to wholesale it, you're not sure what you're going to do, you don't really have a plan, and you don't have the cash right there. It's tough. It's really tough. So every time that I've had a deal, I had the cash from a cash out. I basically found a deal within 1 month.
Nice.
And that's even in this hot of a market. As you see, majority of my purchases have been even in the past year or two during the hottest market ever. I'm still finding deals. You just got to network and work hard to do it.
Yeah, but working hard, that's not sexy, Philip. It's supposed to be easy.
Yeah, a lot of my deals actually were on the MLS. I would just go into the places and offer what I felt like it was worth. Like you say, every house has a number.
Yep.
Offer what it's worth. I would call agents left and right and just say, hey, this is who I am. Bring me something. I would call the listing agent of every house and say, within an hour of it coming on market, hey, this is what I got. This is what I can do. That strategy seems like it's put me to the top a lot of the times, at least.
Yeah, I guess one of the first off, everything you're doing is what I preach. I talk about. I repeat over and over and over again. So it looks like you closed 3 houses in 2021.
That's right.
How many offers or how many properties did you look at? Because again, I'm going to guess you didn't get every offer you put out there because your number may be less than what others will pay. How many houses did you look at?
Probably 15 to 20 offers for every one purchase.
Okay.
And the looking probably double or triple that, as far as, and then, just looking at it on Zillow on your phone, probably 5 times, 6 times that, but as far as actually visiting properties, probably 50 or 60 per every one.
I hope people hear this because I keep talking about it. You got to do the work. Every property has a number. Yeah, you're right. It's like 10x this to look, and then from looking, you're walking. Because again, and the beauty is you're building up the repetition where when the market changes, and I promise you, Philip, the market will change 4 or 5 times in your lifetime. You will be able to pounce when you find those opportunities, because you will find the truly motivated seller that says, I'm done, I'm out, I lost my job, the stock market killed me, whatever it is. And you're going to be like, I'll take it.
Sure.
Because you've done the work. So good job.
No, I'm excited for that day. Especially because, like you've pointed out many times that we're locking in really good deals at locked in interest rates. We're getting the chance to where most time rental income rates don't change dramatically, at least historically, as you pointed out in your videos. So it's kind of like you're locking in a solid, good deal, and then hopefully you can find even better deals in the future.
Yes, totally agree. I like it. So let's talk about a multi. maybe a fourplex or something.
Yeah. So my best deal for
Mhm.
sure is this one on Germantown.
Okay.
Germantown, I was super proud of that one. So quick story on that one was I had just sold, I think it was Fernwood that funded that one. I
Okay.
just sold Fernwood, and within 2 weeks of me selling Fernwood, so I had a check for 89,000 sitting in my bank.
Hmm.
And I think I had to bring to the table through cash flow, through my other units cash flowing,
Mhm.
probably another like 10,000 roughly. I think it was like closing was like 108. So whatever that math is. Anyways, so within 2 weeks, I found this deal, and it was a quadplex that was renting for $750 per unit.
Mm.
So cash flow on it was 3,000 per month, minus the payment. The numbers were not that great, but okay at 385. I think that's like, I don't even know what that cap rate is. It's not that great. Maybe in California it'd be good. Maybe in California.
Yeah. It'd be
Maybe
really
California
good
would
in
be amazing. I don't
California.
know.
Yeah, it would. In Cali, that'd be good.
But
Not in Tennessee.
right. But I ended up basically finishing up the final bits of the remodel that was going on. Actually, it was an older seller. He was remodeling the place.
Mhm.
And so before it hit the market, I called my agent, was like, I got to have this deal. This is the one. This is it. I definitely want this deal. I was like, let's offer $10,000 over. Let's, do tons of earnest money. Let's get it before it goes on the market. And by the way, the same agent that let me do this deal with her was the agent that I worked with on Poindexter. So she knew I could close, I could do this. So it was kind of a nice thing where, and by the way, for Poindexter, the same agent, I told her, hey, you can keep both sides of the commission.
Mm-hmm.
So basically it just, the work in the past kind of played into this deal.
Reputation matters.
Over the course of 4 or 5 months, I was able to raise the rents on it to actually $1,175 per unit.
Wow. So $750 to $1,100. That's 50% roughly.
Yeah, almost. So yeah, $750 to $1,175, which it's a quadplex in a weird area, so it actually doesn't really. It's very difficult to like determine the exact value. But I would buy it again today for $500K, which is what I put the current value.
That's great.
So I actually don't even know truly the exact current value, but anyway.
Yeah, no, that's.
But super proud of that deal.
Yeah, that's awesome. Okay.
And so then from there, Mike, from there, Graysville and Church Street are two single family ones.
Mm-hmm.
And basically I took the cash out of my primary.
Mm-hmm.
I did a HELOC, 75,000. You see that in the spreadsheet there on the number 2 Fernwood,
mm-hmm.
and ended up putting that down on the Graysville address.
Mm-hmm.
And then some point in the process, I did a cash out on McGowan as well for that for part of that Church Street.
Yeah,
it's kind of the spreadsheet's kind of deceptive as far as I'm not cashing out one house to go exactly straight into the next house, so I'm trying to figure out how they translate from one to the next one. But anyway.
Yeah. So again, the beauty is I've done these spreadsheets with lots of people. So there's a couple things I want people to realize here. One is you got to get in the game. You got in the game with $3,500 primary residence. Purposely, a year later, you're saving for the next one. That's awesome. But when you start looking at all these numbers, you have very little personal money in these deals because you took IRS, you took 55 grand from the first one, 89 from the second one. That's $144,000. And okay, so 144,000 minus 12, so $132,000 profit off a $12,000 basis. That's not including cash flow. Then, oh, by the way,
hey, Mike, I've literally
go ahead.
I've literally in this spreadsheet exactly made this point that you're making right now.
Okay.
Because you see the total amount, 387,500 that's been put into the deals total.
Mm-hmm.
That's a mind-blowing number to me. Mm-hmm. Right. But then when you say the net profit and the refi amount was actually 314.
Mm-hmm.
Sorry, internet's a little rough here. Yeah. So we got 314, and the way you get that 314 number comes from the net profit on Garner.
Mhm.
I'm not sure if I can control the spreadsheet, Mike, but net profit on Garner, net profit on Fernwood, net loss on Altamira, and then the two refis, the 75 and the 100. So that's how much that's basically just come from the property. And I've only put down 73,500 during the course of my deals. And that doesn't even include the cash flow as far as the incoming monthly. That's just, so if you were to say over 8 years, you have to fund 73,500, that's about $765 a month. So that becomes much more attainable. If you were just to look at that number rather than, Philip, you're gonna have to come out day one, 387,500 in 8 years. That would be like, I would just be, insane.
That is exactly where I was going. This is what people need to see. They see the 387 and they go, not me. Congratulations, Philip. You must have a rich daddy or be a ball player or some nonsense. No, you really only put in $73,000. Time in the market is better than timing the market. You are recycling capital, both leveraging the tax code and cash out refis. Everything I did in the beginning, right? Eventually you'll 1031 exchange, I'm sure. This is amazing. And again, this 73,500, most of that is not your W-2. Most of that is the income snowball from owning cash flow rentals. What you are doing is absolutely repeatable by every 20-year-old, 30-year-old, 40-year-old. There's nothing unique and special about Philip. I'm sorry. You're just executing, you're doing the work, walking properties, writing good offers, knowing your numbers. You're just doing one rental at a time. And I am so happy that you've shared this with folks. Anything you want to close on this? Because this is amazing.
No, man, except just to say that, like you said, if you were to say, I feel like so many other people beside me that have a huge leg up compared on real estate in the sense of they know way more about houses. Man, I can barely swing a hammer at all. I've done barely any of my actual labor on any of this stuff. I have met some good folks that do a lot of basic small repairs. And the second thing is, I've decided to buy more places that are not insane value add opportunities. Yeah, so that's just been kind of my model. So in other words, it is very doable for someone that is not a contractor. That would be the most logical person to be in real estate as a contractor. But I'm just here to tell everybody, no, you don't have to be a contractor. You don't have to know all this stuff. It's one rental at a time. It's one bite at a time every day.
That's exactly right. And again, it is okay to get on the property ladder as an owner occ. In fact, it's the easiest way to start this for most people, because $3,500 is a lot easier to save. 5%, to be clear, 5% is easier to save than 25%. So dude, this is so awesome. I can't wait, Philip, for episode number 3. Thanks, bud.
Thanks.